Death Club.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Danny here, and today I'm talking to you about Blade of the Phantom Master Gaiden. So this is the compilation book of short stories pertaining to characters from the main series, Blade of the Phantom Master. It's only one volume with about 4 chapters, give or take. Just something real quick to get into. If you like the characters in Blade of the Phantom Master, then this is a good thing to grab up. And it tells us the origin stories of various characters. Of course, we get to see how Munsu, Haimosu, and Kylie Wohyang all meet together when they're children and how they become friends. And everything pretty much leading up to them being important figures in Jushin. And then there's also stuff with Sando, aka Chunhyang, and how she meets Mong Ryong, her first lover. And we get an understanding of her character. You know, you get to see Mary, who was Aji Tai's, I guess you could say Sando, his bodyguard, essentially. Wan Sul, of course, and then Bong Jia. So pretty much all the favorite characters that were important, as well as the interesting ones, kind of like Mary, right? Because she's sort of interesting, and she actually plays off of what Sando's character really is. But that's also up in the air when you get to the end of the main manga. There's some humor in here. There's a couple 4 comas. And I thought it was a good addition. Some of the stuff is a little rehashed, I think, with Bong Jia. We kind of already got what he was about and where he came from, and the reason why he wants to follow Munsu as his Bong Jia. We kind of already got that in the manga, so just having it more fleshed out here just kind of seemed redundant. We did get to see some characters that are in the world that involved themselves with the Angyo Onshis, so that was cool. But I felt like that was a waste. I liked Wan Sul's backstory a lot. He's sort of a tragic character throughout the series. Just seeing what he has to go through, and by the end of the series, finally getting his peace that he gets, and just seeing what caused him to get to where he was, just fuels more fire to what he was feeling at the end of the main series. So I thought that was a nice touch. And then the part where we see Munsu, Haimosu, and Wohyang all hang out when they're children, it just gives us, again, more of what we already know. There is a big thing that happens to Munsu, but it's weird because it changes his character drastically from the moment that it happened to when we see him again when he goes on this journey by himself, but it doesn't reflect to who he is in the present. Like when we first get this introduction in the main series, and then getting more of his past, understanding how deep of a character he actually is, this flashback stuff is not felt at all when it comes to the main series. So I felt like, again, another unnecessary thing to have. Again, it's cool to see it, but I just don't see the real importance when it comes to what we're trying to do here in this Gaiden, because this story with Munsu is the last one of the volume. And so far, everything else was pretty good, right? It starts off strong with Sando, and we really get an understanding of what she is, who she is, right off the bat. That was really important. I thought, like, okay, this is setting the bar of what we're going to get for the rest of the series. And then sure, there's some comedic bits in there just to lighten the mood. There is humor in the series in the beginning, so it makes sense for this to be in there. Unraveling more mysteries in a sense with the whole Mary chapter. It was very short, but no dialogue, and you just kind of get an understanding more about her character and why it's right after Sando's. But yeah, just the back half though, after Wan Sul, there's just no need for those. Again, it's cool, but I just didn't see the necessary parts for it. There was also interviews and stuff in this volume pertaining to the anime movie that came out around this same time, and I picked it up, haven't watched it yet. It's an hour and a half long, so if I had to take a guess, it's going to be everything leading up to just before we get introduced to Aji Tai and all of that stuff with him and Munsu's background. I'm going to check it out eventually, and I'm not going to do a separate episode for that, but if you do want to hear my thoughts, that's going to be over on Twitter at Negator7, And other than that, that's really all I have to say. Just a quick episode I wanted to dish out there because I saw the Gaiden was in there, and I did see it before I started reading Blade of the Phantom Master, and I thought, like, I don't know if I really want to grab that up as well, but because of how great a story it was, I figured, okay, if there's a Gaiden, that means there's some good stuff in there, because I think the last series we talked about that had a Gaiden series had to be Blam, and there was some really great stuff there. So I was looking forward to this. As well as Trigun, that had a Gaiden essentially as well with multiple bullets, and there was some good stuff in there too. So I was expecting more or less the same thing, and again, we did. It's just the first half is strong, the back half was okay. I mean, it's nice to see, but just not necessary. So that's really all I have to say about this Gaiden volume. And again, what did you guys think of the series if you picked it up since we last talked? Would love to hear your thoughts. And that's over unversepodcast@gmail.com. And then you can follow us on social media anywhere you go at unversepodcast, and we'll let you know when those episodes drop. So thanks, guys. Until we get to the next Super String episode, we'll catch you later.